These girls running like I just threw the bouquet. They know I'm headed to the top like a toupee.
In music as a whole, there are many different awards that one can get, as well as honors that signal to the music world that they are going to be stars one day, whether you realize it or not. For the rap world, that would be being selected for the XXL Freshman Class, which gives young rappers a spotlight and a chance to further prove their skills on the mic via freestyles and other events. But despite this being a yearly thing, there have been some rappers who are fine with not being on it. So allow us to show you rappers who decline the XXL Freshman List. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 7. Nicki Minaj and Drake.
I say, young money to the young boy dying out. You hear me crying out, you see me riding out.
Let's start out with a 2-for-1 special, shall we? Back in 2010, both Nicki Minaj and Drake were selected to the freshman class of XXL. In an interview with MTV following the selection of the 2010 class, Nicki said she told XXL, "No disrespect, but no thanks." She continued, "Drake and I, we love XXL. We just shot for XXL. With all due respect, we felt like we kinda had graduated from the freshman class. We felt that XXL missed the mark when they didn't put us on the cover prior to that. They have to pay for that. They can't say, hey, get on the next one. But we love XXL. That's a sweet hip-hop classic. So we said, can we have something just a little bit more catered to us so that we feel like we still have grown as artists, so we're not at all disrespecting the magazine?" They were cool with that. We didn't dictate. We just asked nicely. Drake echoed her sentiment in another 2010 interview. "Technically, we were freshmen when they didn't put us on. I feel now it's just returning the favor." So yeah, a little bit of spite there, but you can see where they were coming from. They didn't get the attention when they should have, and then when they tried to pull them back in, they got backhanded. Fast forward to now, and you see both Drake and Minaj at the top of their rap games in various aspects, including Nicki being one of the queens of rap and Drake being one of the biggest musical stars on the planet. Now granted, you're not going to hear all of these stories ending in victories, but you can see why these two stuck together and denied the freshman class. Number 6. Vado.
I had my foot in the pain while I stood in the paint. One foot in the game, the other foot in the bank.
Now let's head to 2011 with a much different story and outcome via Vado, a man who was chosen for the class but turned it down. In an interview with DJ Drama before the freshman issue came out in 2011, Cameron explained why his artist Vado turned down a spot on XXL's cover, giving a too little too late answer that was similar to Drake and Nicki's. To be honest, he's not going to be on there. It ain't definite yet, but I spoke to XXL's editor-in-chief. She called me about doing it. They didn't put him on last year. They wanted him on this year. So I told the lady at XXL I'd get back to her. If Vado does do the cover for XXL, I want him to be the main focus. I'm not trying to be an asshole like it's us or nothing, but my man put a lot of work in last year. I'm not saying that other people that's coming up shouldn't be on the cover either. I'm just saying give him a little focus on the cover. She said she didn't know if she could, and I understand that. Now here's the thing. Unlike Drake and Nicki, Vado's career fizzled out hard. We're not saying he would have done better if he was on the freshman class, but hey, it could have. Number 5. ASAP Rocky.
Oh, because I was like touring and stuff.
So you didn't turn down the list?
It just didn't work out.
Here's one that is all the more relevant because of various things going on right now in his life. When ASAP Rocky broke out in fall of 2011 with his Live Love ASAP project, people thought he was a lock for the 2012 cover, but that didn't happen. He explained his reasoning and snubbed some of the actual class of 2012 in an interview with Fuse later that year. "I was on the list, I was touring and stuff, it just didn't work out. I got love for everybody. I think a lot of the motherfuckers on the list are corny as fuck. Shout out to Danny Brown. I think a few people on there are eligible for it and they deserve to be on that cover." So in his case, it was just a scheduling issue, which makes perfect sense. These rappers are busy, but it didn't hurt his career one bit. ASAP Rocky is still going strong today and is now even dating Rihanna. We're sure she doesn't care that he wasn't on the list either. We're just saying. Number 4. Young Thug.
He gonna be mad he missed the show, but hey, it was a good show.
In the early months of 2014, Young Thug, less than a year removed from his 1017 Thug project, was still the most hated rapper in the game. That didn't stop XXL from wanting him on the cover though. It didn't happen, and thus, in an ensuing interview with Rolling Out, XXL editor-in-chief Vanessa Satin tried to downplay his relevance at the time. A big year for a rap artist isn't based off of 2 songs. It takes a lot more than that to have a huge year. Young Thug has had a nice burn for a few months, but I don't think he has dominated an entire year. I don't think 2 songs can do that. Also, Rich Homie Quan and Sage the Gemini both had bigger songs. Although Young Thug had a buzz, it wasn't the biggest buzz of the year. He was asked to be part of a cover, but he never showed up. He canceled the night before, and I don't know why. You would have to ask him why. So that was XXL trying to throw shade, but it backfired on them because Young Thug is going strong today, and some of the rappers they noted aren't even blips on the rap radar anymore. Number 3, Party Next Door and I Love Mackinnon.
It's a personal thing, and you should just accept it with self and don't really sweat what everybody else is thinking about. Just know what you're doing.
This one is definitely interesting. Vanessa Satin revealed in 2015 that they were interested in getting the then OVO artist Party Next Door and I Love Mackinnon on the cover, but had no luck. To date, neither have spoken about bailing on the cover, but she did have something to say about it. Nobody turned it down this year, but some funny responses. Not funny, I don't want to be weird, but not such responsive responses from the Party Next Door I Love Mackinnon camp. But they didn't seem so interested, so we didn't run that lane too hard. We're not sure what to make about that, but perhaps since OVO was run by Drake, they wanted to follow his example by not doing a cover. Hard to say. Number 2, Tory Lanez.
I got dreams bigger than hip-hop, than just R&B. I plan on being the biggest artist in the world.
In 2016, Tory Lanez was asked to be on the Freshman List. Just one problem. Tory Lanez had already been around for quite some time in the music world, so not unlike others on this list, it was understandable for him to decline the spot. He didn't do it in the most gracious way, but he did offer the most concrete evidence of any artist on this list by simply tweeting, "I passed on the XXL cover. Don't be confused." It's since been deleted, but that seems pretty cut and dry in regards to him turning it down. Lanez has been in some serious trouble lately via Megan Thee Stallion incident, and he probably wishes he could turn down the attention that he's been getting now. Number 1, Post Malone.
It's a long process that goes into it, but finally towards the end we kind of rallied and just made it work.
If you know anything about Post Malone, it's that Post Malone doesn't do anything basic. He's a person who is more than happy to do things because he has a good feeling about it or doesn't like certain stereotypes, including receiving certain honors. In contrast to other major artists who turned down a chance to be in XXL's class of 2016, Post Malone wrote a long explanation about his absence. Here's just a little tidbit of what he wrote on the post that's still live right now. "I didn't want to do the cover because I was tired and didn't want to take the 6-hour flight to New York. From the horse's mouth, no he said, she said." Of course, this is in dispute by some. Satin responded with an Instagram note of her own claiming that Post's publicist had told XXL that they weren't interested in the cover because Post was moving away from hip-hop and didn't want to be boxed in as a hip-hop artist. Which honestly does feel like something Post Malone would say, as he's been rather critical of hip-hop at times, despite the fact that he's technically still in the genre himself. Again, Post Malone doesn't do anything simply, and when he gets insulted, he tends to do long things like this to try to make his case. But given that Post Malone is one of the biggest things in music in his own right, yeah, I'd say he's doing well despite not being on the list. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the rappers who felt they didn't need to be on the XXL Freshman List? Do you understand why they were fine with not doing the list? Do you think their careers took a hit because they rejected the offer? What are your personal feelings on the list as a whole? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.